wondered how a huge global idea like sustainable development actually makes its way from a UN meeting hall into the laws of a specific country? You know, how does it end up affecting a factory down the road or the forest on the edge of town? Well, today we're going to trace that exact journey, from a big global blueprint all the way down to local action. Everything really kicks off with this one massive question. It's the central challenge of our time, isn't it? How do we keep building, keep growing, and keep improving our lives today without pulling the rug out from under our kids and grandkids? It's a tough balance to strike, and the world's best attempt at an answer is wrapped up in one powerful concept. And there it is, the classic definition. Now, this isn't about hitting the brakes on progress, not at all. It's about making our progress smarter. It's about building an economy that's not just profitable, but also fair. And this is the key part, built to last for generations to come. So, to see how this all fits together, we're going to follow the idea from the top down. We'll start with the global plan, the big vision. Then we'll look at the international promises that laid the groundwork. After that, we'll zoom right in on a country like India to see how it writes this promise into its constitution, creates a powerful umbrella law, and finally, puts watchdogs on the ground to make sure the rules are followed. All right, first up, let's talk about that global blueprint. This isn't just some vague wishful thinking. It's a real, concrete plan that the whole world has agreed on. It's a shared roadmap for a better future for everyone. Right at the heart of this plan are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. You've probably heard them called the SDGs. You can think of them as humanity's ultimate to-do list. Adopted back in 2015, they set a hard deadline of 2030 to get all this stuff done. It's ambitious, and it covers pretty much everything. Let's do a quick run-through. Okay, so first things first, you've got to cover the absolute basics of human dignity, right? So we start with ending poverty in all its forms, making sure no one goes hungry, promoting good health for everyone, and of course, giving everyone access to a quality education. These are the non-negotiables. Building on that foundation, the goals get into creating a world that's just fairer and works better. That means achieving true gender equality, making sure we all have clean water and toilets, switching to clean and affordable energy, and pushing for economic growth that actually provides good, decent jobs. Then, the plan zooms out to look at the huge systems that shape our lives. We're talking about building innovative industries and strong infrastructure, seriously tackling inequality, making our cities places where people can thrive, and completely rethinking the way we make and use, well, everything. And finally, we get to the really big picture stuff, taking urgent action on climate change, protecting all life in our oceans and on land, and building peaceful societies with strong, just institutions. But Goal 17, that one is the glue that holds it all together. It's the world admitting, hey, we can't do any of this alone. It's all about partnership. So you might be wondering, where did this incredible to-do list even come from? Well, it didn't just pop up overnight in 2015. It was actually built on decades of global meetings and promises that set the stage for this big moment. The whole story really gets going way back in 1972 in Stockholm. That was the first time the world's leaders all got in a room to talk about the environment. A big deal. Fast forward 20 years to 1992, and you get the legendary Rio Earth Summit, which created the first real action plan. Then, in 2002, the Johannesburg Summit basically said, yep, we're still committed, let's keep this going. Now, one of the most important things to come out of that Rio Summit was a document called Agenda 21. And this was a total game changer because it wasn't just about what governments should do, it was all about getting communities involved, saying that for this to actually work, everyone needs a seat at the table, from world leaders down to people in their own neighborhoods. Okay, so we have the global vision and the history of international agreements. But how does this get real? How does it become something that has to be followed? Let's zoom in on India and see how these big ideas get woven directly into the country's most important legal document, its constitution. And this right here is where things get incredibly powerful. India's Supreme Court has said that the fundamental right to life also includes the right to a clean environment. Just let that sink in for a second. Having a healthy environment isn't just a nice-to-have policy goal, it's a basic human right as fundamental as a life itself. But the Constitution doesn't stop there. Article 48A gives a direct order to the government. Notice the wording. It's not just protect, but also improve. This isn't a friendly suggestion. It's a constitutional duty. And this sets up a really smart two-part strategy.
So the law comes at the problem from two directions. First, you have protectionist policies. That's defense. That's banning things that are actively causing harm, like getting rid of leaded gasoline or single-use plastics. Then you have improvinistic policies. That's offense. That's actively making things better, like promoting cleaner fuels or launching huge tree planting campaigns. You need both.
And here's the kicker. It's not all on the government. Article 51A says that protecting and improving the environment is the duty of every single citizen. It creates this incredible sense of shared responsibility. It's a pact between the state and the people.
A constitutional promise is the foundation, but you need laws with teeth to build on it. And that brings us to a crucial law that was, unfortunately, born out of a terrible national tragedy. After the horrific Bhopal gas tragedy, India passed the Environment Protection Act in 1986. It's often called the Umbrella Act. Why? Because it brought all the scattered environmental laws and different government agencies together under one single unified framework. It ensured everyone was working from the same playbook. So we've got the constitutional right, and we've got the big Umbrella Act. But who's actually out there making sure people are following the rules? This brings us to the final and maybe most important piece of the puzzle, the pollution watchdogs. The system works on two levels. At the top, you've got the Central Pollution Control Board, the CPCB. Think of them as the brains of the operation. They set the national standards and provide all the technical expertise. Then, in each state, you have a State Pollution Control Board, or SPCB. They're the feet on the ground, taking guidance from the CPCB and actually implementing the laws.
So the CPCP wears a lot of different hats. It's not just about enforcement. They guide the state boards, they run training programs, they launch public awareness campaigns, and they are the ones who collect and publish all the scientific data. They literally write the rule books and manuals that everyone else has to follow.
And that really brings us to the heart of the matter. We've seen the whole chain, from a global idea all the way down to a specific agency's duties. The laws are there, the frameworks are in place. As this quote says, what's needed now is strong implementation. The challenge has shifted from writing the rules to making them real. Which leaves us with a big question. How do we make sure that these powerful words on paper actually lead to a cleaner, safer world for everyone?